You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 106. Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where growth and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey, balancing life with the wisdom of Egun, Ifa, and Orisha in our everyday lives. I am your host, Yvonne. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. This is an episode that there may be some interesting language that is going to be said. So if you got the littles, this is not one that they should hear. I'm just saying. So you've been warned. This episode is an episode that I think needs to be said over and over and over because I think a lot of us forget. And interestingly enough, this episode is about that people leave stuff behind after a reading. And with that, let's get started. When you go to a reading, you got questions. I get it. You have an issue, something that you need an answer to. You either have a problem with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, a problem at work. You want to start a business. You have a problem with your kids, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, best friend, the super, the landlord, the neighbor, the colleague. You're mad, you're angry, you're upset, unhappy. You are having an issue with either health, this or that hurts, this is not functioning, this doesn't seem normal. You are in a depression. You have either, managed or non-managed mental health, anything going on. You're out of sorts. You are having an endless bad luck streak. Your car broke down, your fan, the window cracked, the windshield cracked, the tire went out, and just things are not going right? Then, of course, nothing else is on your mind but the thing, whatever the issue is. So you decide you are going to get with a priest and you are going to get a spiritual reading. You're going to give, him or her money. You're going to sit down for your reading, right? And you go in, you make the appointment, get this on your schedule. You're stressing the F out because now, you got all kinds of things going on. Just nothing is working for you, okay? Like, you're fucked up right now. And you get your questions answered. And then you ask 5 other questions that you just thought of. And then you ask about the other 2 that might be important. But you ask those 2. You either take notes or you wait for them to send you information, right? You try to get as much time as you can with that reader, even if there are people waiting to be read. So there are some people that they work out of their homes, right? Or, a room in a botanica and there's people there, but man, you're going to get your buck's worth, your money's worth, right? If you it's like you're like, oh my God, this is a person who may have answers for me. And this person is going to be able to help me. But then you go home and think about it for a second. You're happy or not, depending on what you got in the reading, right? You got answers. You have spiritual work to do. You have now advice. You have a plan. You have hope. You plan how to get your spiritual work done. You are now going through your next steps, which is fine. It's supposed to happen. But when you leave, there is another scene going on. And we are going to get into it. But right before we continue, I'm going to stop for a moment because I want to make sure that you guys know, one, yes, we still have to do the Orisha Wisdom Notes. I'm so sorry. It's been a crazy couple of weeks and I haven't gotten that done. But that's going to be how you sign up to get all of the notes from Orisha Wisdom. And I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't seen it, do you know that Your Spiritual Things makes posters? And some of them are really good. And one that I wanted to focus on is, I remember a long time ago, I drew an Eshu. It looks like a little light bulb, but it's so cute. It's an Eshu. And I think it's cute. I was made fun of for a bit, but it's cute. He's cute. And I made the brush lettering that says, Ebo gives karma a little help. So if you guys are interested, definitely go to Your Spiritual Things. I will post a link for that from the Etsy store. I will post that into the show notes so that you can just go in and get yours. It's cute. It comes in black and white or with a blue background, but it is so badass. So since we're talking about spiritual work, I was trying to figure out what would be the best one to go with it. So Ebo gives karma a little help. All right, let's continue. So now you have finished your spiritual reading. You have. And you got answers. You don't like what you heard or you like what you heard, but at least you have answers. But there's another scene that is unfolding. While you were there getting your answers, asking your questions, getting your plan, something else was happening. Your issues, that energy lingered off of you. You left remnants behind. It's like a perfume. It lingered. When you shook that hand, when you gave that hug, you inadvertently left something behind. Now what? So here you're off doing your thing, right? But that reader, whether it's a spiritual priest or not, that spiritual reader may now have to smudge. You're like, that's not too bad. Let him smudge, right? They may have to do a floor wash. They may have to clean the walls of their space. They may have to take a spiritual bath 2 or 3. They may have to ring bells. They may have to make an amulet. They might get sick after you leave. You know, that one is a lot more common than what I thought. They get sick. They might suck out the energy. So they might feel droopy, because I don't know how else to put it. They might need a nap or 2, or just 2 days of rest, maybe 3. That priest or that spiritual reader may now have extra guests, unwanted guests in the house that you left behind. And I actually wrote, or more. A reading for him or her may now need to happen, because now there are other things that they may not have seen right away. Because now it's like they're in their own fog that you left behind. And a reading comes with what, peoples? Let's say it all together. Ebos! You got it! Yes! Ebos. Wait, hold on a second. Don't I have a sound for that? One of these days, I'm going to have my sounds together. So let's see. Wait. Let's do it again. So what does a reading come with, people? Ebos! And this is why I can't be left alone with equipment, because things like this happen. But seriously, now they have to do their own ebos. They may have to rest. They may have to get herbs. They may have to do cleaning or cleanings. That means plural, people. That means more than one. Maybe some animals may now have to be involved for him or her to finally get their house back. For the reader to finally get their peace back. While you're seeking help with, I got to do this at Bo. I got to get this. I got to shop for this. Like, you may have your list already. Now they have to get their own. And of course, you should go in and get the list ready of all the things that you were instructed to, especially if it's a legitimate reader, somebody that's not going to, that's another topic. But you know what I mean? So you should do the above. But remember, there's an energetic exchange. And that's something that is constant in spiritual readers' lives. I've heard of someone that actually this is what she does for a living. She makes her living that way. And she literally has to do about a couple of cleanings per day, every day, no matter what. Because too many people are getting readings from her, and this is what needs to be done for her to maintain like some sort of normalcy to her life. She needs to do several check-ins with her bóveda, her muertos, or this and that and the other. And you would think that that's too much, but you haven't seen when they go down. When the readers go down, you haven't seen what that looks like. I actually have a quote that I got just today, which I'm going to tell you a little bit later, but I don't want to skip to where it is. But it's coming. Let me check my notes. Oh, that's right. Spiritual. Perfect. I got that. Here's another thing that's important for you. When they charge for their readings, please don't try to weasel out of paying it. Please don't. That's tacky. Don't do that. And here's the thing. Yes, they have to earn their money. Come on, people. Everybody has to earn their living. Yes, everything that is given to you, you can't expect everything free all the time. No. But a portion of it may need to go to herbs, sachets of herbs and other things that they need to now carry, amulets, animals, further cleanings, time. They may need to go to the pharmacy because now they're having this pounding headache for 3 days straight. Many of us don't appreciate or know the struggles of many of our spiritual readers, especially after they read. They sort out our problems, but then they just go into their own, you know what I mean? Like, now it's time for them to sort themselves. We don't get to see that. My favorite places to go to online are YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and yes, I still do Facebook. Sometimes I go to other ones, but those are my main ones. And I don't stay long, especially when they're doing readings. Some people will disagree with that. I'm not here to argue that question. That's not the point that I'm going to make, people. So before you start getting your happy typing fingers in, that's not the point. The point is that I find it very interesting. Let's say that there's a Wiccan or a witch, like a Wiccan tarot reader, and she is online doing whatever. I'll throw a card for you and ask your question. I'll throw a card and see. Some people disagree. We're not here for that. We're just here for the following. So let's say that I'm the one that's calling in or, dialing in, and I got a card. Let's say I got the Tower. A lot of people are afraid of the Tower. And then after she's like, well, for the question is, yeah, this is a quite appropriate card for you, blah, 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 blah. Here's the message and the Tower, etc. Yeah, but what about this? And so here's the thing. Then I'm going to try to go get in my other question and my other question. And we tend to not have boundaries with them. And that's why I wrote, many of us don't appreciate or know the struggles of many of our spiritual readers, especially after they read and they sort out our problems. And I wrote this in quotes. They may pretend, and I put this in quotes, pretend, or I think it's better well said, they are trained to deal with our issues so that they don't worry us. But I ask that we all remember to respect them, to appreciate them, their knowledge, their time. And this is where my friend's quote comes in. But here's another thing. A lot of them have different gifts. And some of them can see auras, can sense energy, can see muertos around you, can see not nice muertos around you. And that's taxing. That is so taxing for them. And it's funny. It's like a gift I've always wanted. But after hearing that, I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. You could keep it. It's great. You keep that one. I'm all right. Because it's a different type of muscle, I guess, that you are utilizing when you are doing spiritual readings. And it's interesting, if you've ever been part of a spiritual misa, one person will say this, whatever, I'm sensing this. The other one's like, oh, okay, that makes sense because I'm seeing this. All of a sudden, the energy in the room is palpable because so much energy is being let go and exchanged in order to get those messages in there. Same here, but it may just be one reader. And I've been lucky enough to have 2, and the max of readers that I've had in one spot has been 4, a total of 4. That was wild, by the way. That was wild. They have to deal with how, okay, I'm going to try to word this because in my mind it makes sense. While you're dealing with your problem A, they're dealing with responding to your problem A, but problem A may also be reacting to the reader, and now they have to deal with problem A too, but in their own way. So here is why I said this episode is not for the littles because of the following. I literally, right before recording, I had a conversation. And I said, I think you're going to love this week's episode. He's like, really? What is it about? So I told him what it's about. And, actually, somebody else told him. My bestie told him what the episode was about. He started screaming. It was hysterical. I'm going to try to do it justice. Yes, they live shit. They leave shit behind. Emotional baggage, a truckload of shit, and it stinks, and it smells. And I laughed, and I'm like, we get it. It's bad. It's so bad. But he's not wrong. So a lot of us, when we're coming, I'm not trying to deter anyone, nor should you ever feel that you should not get assistance for your spiritual needs. Not saying that at all, in no way, shape, or form. But I do want you to realize that sometimes things happen when you leave. So when you leave, you feel relief or not, or anxious because of the answers that you got and the questions that you got or the messages that were given to you. But now they may need time. They may have to heal. I know even after misas, misas, that's another thing. And then we're going to have to talk about that too at some point. But it's very similar. They may have to have now healing of their own spiritual well-being because of what was left behind from you. And I remember at one point, there was something going on with me and I showed up and it's like everything honed in on me. And I was so embarrassed and I wanted to just die because you go there and hopefully you're getting a message or two, but you don't want, a full like half an hour to be on you. And it's embarrassing. But I never knew what happened after I left, especially with all the things that I was there with. I feel guilty. I feel like a little bad. Okay, I feel a lot of bad when that happens, but it has to be done. And understand also a lot of the readers, especially priests in our religion, even if you're not a priest, but you're a good espiritista and you're good at your readings, understand that those people, they know that there's going to be trouble coming through their doors. They know this. They signed up for it. I understand that. But just because we know, that doesn't mean that we're not grateful, that we're not careful, that we're not trying to always milk them. It's like I'm trying to put it in the nicest way possible. We need to be respectful of them and their time. I also wrote down, they're not at our beck and call. So this is a little different. So there's a different dynamic from a reader that you pay for, let's say for a botanica, because you have to go there, right? And this reader, you're not going to have their phone number. You don't have that type of relationship with. And that's okay too. And then you have like your priests. You have the people that you know, the people that you have their number, they have your number. This also doesn't mean that you're going to call them with every single problem that you have. You should, if it's something serious, book a time with them. But I do have a story for you. I once called my godfather for something. And I said, I've done all of the abodes that were marked. I did this, A, B, and C. And as one of my other besties does, and 1, 2, and 3. And he heard me. But I didn't count on something. What I didn't count on is the muertos talking. When those spirits start to talk, you're like, oh, yep, more is coming. So now things need to be done. Now they, meaning the reader, the priest, the person that is channeling that information, now they need to get information to you. Now they're in their house rummaging for whatever because they know you don't have such whatever item A, B. You don't have that. So now they're rummaging through their house because now they got to get it to you. And then they have to get ready for something spiritual that's for you that now has come up. Or they have to get ready for a reading due to what came up. So it's not always as simple as a reading that's in and out, like one and done. There's no one and done sometimes. While we leave for our lives and we go back to our kids, our husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, dog, cat, mouse, whatever. People do like mice for pets. I didn't know that. And they love their mice and even their rats. But that's them. And they go to their jobs. They go to their activities. A lot of us don't realize what our issues left behind to that priest or reader to handle. And it's not like they're going to tell us, mira, you crazy person, you came to my house and now I have to do, 10 baths and I have to, kill, 20 chickens and I have to put bells in front of each door. They're not going to tell you that. It's just going to happen. And many times they are left with our gunk in their spaces, to the point that it stinks. And it's sometimes it's even so much that they may have missed something. Oh no, they get into their dreams too. Spirits are like, mira, pay attention. You forgot to tell her this. So when you get up, make sure you tell her this. So readers are much more than just answer givers to us. They are people with their own lives. They are people that have their own issues, their own ailments, their own jobs, their own problems, and they are taking that weight, that exchange of us in our issues, in our problems. And this especially goes for the godparents that also do readings for their godchildren, because, oh my God, like I heard recently, my godchildren are trying to kill me. And I'm like, well, you signed up for that. But it is true. As they are helping us, meaning the readers are helping us, we may be leaving stinky gifts behind. And I think we need to talk about this, because if we are going to talk about the respect to Orisha and respect to the spirits and respect to Egun and respect to our mothers and our fathers, we also need to respect the people who help us. And we need to understand, like I know, for example, of a couple, and this particular couple, come to find out that it's happened before to many different couples. I found out much after the fact. He would have clients and godchildren call him at all hours of the day and night, and they were not having boom, chicken, wow, wow, because he was now overloaded. And I have found this to be true for both sexes, and it's not respectful of that reader's time just because you want to discuss, because remember, we are spiritual beings. We are a spirit that is inhabiting a body, which is why whenever you speak to a friend that is going through a lot, you feel drained afterwards, and you sometimes need a nap or a movie with some chocolate. That's why. Because there was an exchange that happened, except that sometimes we don't recognize this. So I am asking everyone, with this episode and any other episode, let's show some kindness, gratitude, and respect to our spiritual readers, because we don't know what we may have left behind before, now, or in the future. And we need to understand that we can't abuse their time and their gifts. They're not our only personal reader. They're not our only personal answer getter. There are other people that they must help, not just me. So we need to keep this in mind going forward, so that they will have the energy, so they will have the oompa, so that they can help us again, as well as other people. I don't know. Some people may feel a little kind of sort of some kind of way. But if you do, have you done this? And if you have, as long as you acknowledge it and you change it and you get better, I think that is going to speak volumes, especially from our spiritual readers, that they have to sit there, they have to cast, they have to throw, they have to concentrate. Eguns are speaking, spirits are speaking, they're deciphering stuff for us to help us go into the right path. We don't always want to leave them drained. We want them to be well. We want them to do well. Does that make sense? So, as for this episode, you have reached the end of this episode. Seriously, what did you think? Are you guilty of this? Have you been guilty of this? I've been guilty of this, so I can talk. I've done it, and I don't want to do it again. So I'm pretty, I sometimes get yelled at because I didn't come quickly enough. Go figure, right? But I think we need to talk about this. I know a lot of you priests and espiritistas, and if you happen to be other type of pagan, witches, Wiccans, all of those other types of pagans, same thing. They say the same thing. Sometimes when they get a really interesting case, they're left with gunk behind. We need to appreciate our readers. And I will put that link to the Bo Gives Karma Little Help, so you could order yours. That would be really helpful. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And as you know, I enjoy making these. I'm actually getting into a better rhythm, but I need to do these and get these out a lot, at least the recording done a lot quicker, so that I can get them to you. But this does not work without your support. Subscribe, that's free. Comment, that's free. Share it, that's free. Let's build a community together. If you wish to do more, You want to purchase some art? Great. I'm going to post that one for a Bo Gives Karma a Little Help. Patreon is good. I think I'm going to be dedicating also more time because they get a lot of the raw videos that the rest of the world does not really get. Also, I will be going live again this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on my Yvonne Reborn YouTube channel. We're going to be listening to a past episode of the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's communicate. Let's chit-chat about it. We pause a lot of it, and I mean, think about it. That's where one of my last episodes came from because I had to rescind information that I don't believe in anymore, and it's not the proper way. But I think it is good that we all come together as a community. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me on episode 106. Until next time, may your spirit guides, may you be open to their assistance. May you always be open for their help so that they can help you fight these battles that you are living in this lifetime so that you can go quickly to your destiny. So I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Egun, Orisha, and Ifa is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.